Enduro bikes are made to cover a wide variety of terrain and uses, serving as the everyday driver for many consumers riding their local trail network and maybe some bike parks on the weekend, to attacking the gnarliest terrain at Enduro World Cups under some of the best athletes in the world. We opted for bike park laps at Snow Summit in Big Bear Lake, California, to get our 6 long-travel bikes as close to the limit as possible in a relatively controlled environment. Our test dives into the initial impressions of each bike, their on-trail performance, what we liked or didn't like, and what kind of rider we think each bike is for. We choose which bike we would take home if we could get one for free in the configuration we tested, and which bike we would buy with the ability to change frame size or any components. In this video, we'll be talking about the Nukeproof Mega. If you're looking for a different bike or want to see all the bikes we tested, refer to the main test session video. The Mega platform is speed-focused and has been developed over the last 10 years to win Enduro races, carrying Sam Hill to 3 consecutive Enduro World Series titles in 2017, 18, and 19. The Mega sports 170mm of travel, front and rear, is offered in full 29 or a mixed-wheeled option with no geometry adjustment or flip chips in sight. Nukeproof is confident you'll love it just the way it is. Vital tested the Mega 290 against the smaller wheel Giga back in 2021 and gave Nukeproof high praise for the well thought out build spec, which is carried over into the 2023 model with the Elite level build kit. The Elite spec of the Nukeproof Mega uses a Fox 38 Performance Elite Series fork and Fox Float X2 Performance shock. Stopping power is handled by the new SRAM DB8 Mineral L brakes with 200mm rotors front and rear. A SRAM GX Access T-Type drivetrain makes for crisp shifting, paired with Nukeproof's own wheels, cockpit, and dropper post. Developed over the last 10 years to be the ultimate downhiller's trail bike, the Mega has earned 3 EWS titles under none other than Sam Hill. This was the smallest bike in our test, with a comfortable 495mm reach, paired to a 64-degree head tube angle and a 440mm chainstay length across all sizes, for a well-balanced feeling out of its 1275mm wheelbase, and a 78-degree seat tube angle for a nice upright pedaling position. Nukeproof Mega 290. It's the first bike I rode this morning. I kind of anticipated this being my favorite bike and kind of struggled to get it set up at first. With some tweaking here and there, kind of dropping the pressure and running a little more sag, it became really good. I think like pumping and jumping stuff was super easy, and then lowering that shock pressure helped with like the square edge stuff. I thought it did great in that. I just thought it was hard to control. The Performance Elite air shock does have high and low speed. This one is just a performance level, so it's similar to the coil shocks we rode, low speed only, which resulted in really fast rebound. We had the low speed, I think all of us had it closed pretty much.
I was like nearly from closed, yeah.
Yeah, I was 1 click from closed.
What pressure did you run, Charlie?
210.
210?
230.
And I was like 250. So
yeah,
roughly 20 to 30 pounds over body weight, which on an XL bike you're going to expect to be in that upper range, which is where the performance shock kind of dropped the ball. I feel like there's no reason to be closing rebound entirely. In my mind, it should be closed at 300, not at 250.
Right.
And not one from closed at 200 or 220.
I just had a lot of like seesawing on the bike, and so I kept to try and mitigate that, more air pressure, but then that would make it like really harsh off the top. So what I ended up doing was running a little bit less air pressure up front and just locking out. It felt like back in the day before volume reducers when you just couldn't get your shock where you wanted it. So
locking the front, like maxing compression?
Compression, yeah.
High
like
speed?
High speed and low speed were both almost closed, which I never do. Out of all the bikes, this one fit the best. So once I did figure out all that suspension stuff, it was like, okay, cool, I could ride this bike. Because basically I just had the fork set up like ram into a wall, and then I could just like get ram after it. Wall. Yeah, exactly. And the rear end kind of did whatever it did. So the body position felt great. It was just like, I think probably the rear end could maybe use a different shock tune too, like because we all had the rebound almost closed. For me to have my rebound wide open on the fork and completely closed on the shock, like that's just a weird thing to have, and they weren't agreeing as much as some of the other bikes. Some of the other bikes, like the front and rear, really felt matched.
I think I might have a little bit more of a rearward position riding style than some of you guys as well.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, like, this felt great to me because I run a Fox 38. I kind of know where to set it on my bike at home. got on this, and yeah, and you know, maybe that has something to do with Sam Hill, flat pedals, you know, just being a little bit back further on the bike. And maybe this bike wants to ride steeper terrain. I mentioned I really loved these brakes, but I rode them in the dry.
They have a really good like bite point feeling, but unfortunately riding in the rain, organic pads, I mean,
we could smell
every run I came down, they were cooking.
We could smell them.
Which was the only bike or brake on test that did that. But universally, loved the brake feel. Like, especially a parking lot test, they were super snappy. Yeah. And then just not a lot of power. Another
kind of components thing, like, it's not much, but all these bikes lacking a bit of rise, this stem does have a little bit of an angle up, which I kind of appreciated.
Yeah, and the stock bar is decently high. I think it was 30 or 35.
Yeah, so we only went up 4 mils. Yeah. I think we should mention these pivot bolts both arrived loose and then continued to come loose. It does say 19 Newton meters of torque, so it could be that when I took it out of the box, or like when I set it up first, because I was the first one to ride it, I noticed those were loose. I tightened them up, but I might have not put the full 19 Newton meters to it, so maybe that could be why it came loose for you guys potentially.
Unfortunately, we were at the chairlift already, so we didn't have a torque wrench on hand. We just got it as tight as we could, pretty much with a multi-tool, which probably wasn't tight enough, but out of the box loose is a bummer. What is sweet out of the box is the ride wrap protection kit.
It's like a $150 value.
Yeah, and I think it shows that they're, you know, giving you as much value as possible, especially for the application of the bike. If you were going to go like enduro race or bike park or even just ride every day, it's pretty nice to protect your investment. And this isn't the most expensive bike in the test, but it's good to know that even at something other than their top level, you get that included. I thought it fit really well, and it was really, easy to ride on a variety of terrain.
Super playful bike, in my opinion. I had a lot of fun on it. Yeah.
This is definitely one of the 2 bikes I wish I had more time on. Like, I think it took a lot longer to figure it out, but I think with a volume reducer, the fork would feel a lot better, and then potentially I wouldn't even care what the rear shock is doing if the fork felt good enough, or, you know, maybe a different shock on that.
The Mega 290 did a great job of pairing a stable feeling on trail with the ability to remain playful and generate speed with ease. So who does this bike best suit?
To me, it feels like it's like just a really fun, like longer travel trail bike. Yeah. Like for me, I spend probably half the time riding jump lines and the other half doing 5,000 foot days, you know, and being in Bellingham, like riding free ride features through that 5,000 foot day. And so I think this is a bike that would be a ton of fun to like go hit some drops on, go hit some jumps on, but still feel like it, hauls. So it's really kind of this do it all. I wouldn't say it's maybe at this size for us, like the race bike per se, but
you could potentially get there with a double XL.
Yeah.
And I think I'm kind of on the same page. This is a good size, I think, for a bike you want to ride every day and do a bit of everything pretty well. It's a really good option for everything from, trail riding, jumping, enduro racing, bike park laps, like.
And when the going gets like tight, when the track gets tighter, this bike felt so maneuverable for me. Like I could just pop it up, place it where I wanted it, ride out really stable, not feel like I was getting kicked around so much like maybe the Intense, which is a similar sized bike. I really liked it. I would say this was probably one of my top 3 bikes of the test for sure.
Yeah. I agree with everything you guys said. I think it's got the most all-around package of, body position, geometry, suspension curve.
And I think the price point is really good too on it. I'm not sure what it is, but
it's not the most expensive, it's not the cheapest. So it's kind of right in the middle with everything, which I think makes a bike like this great. To see how the rest of the test pool stacked up, check out the full Enduro bike test session video, or for more details on each specific bike, head over to vitalmtb.com.